The UCL dream is still alive. The dream that began with Ibra is still alive. And PSG have a second chance to get that first UCL Dubinsky. Will they do it? But even more so, there's a very scary narrative involving a certain Kylian. Um, Now, I thought Arsenal had a chance. I thought they had a chance. But unlike Arteta, and Arteta will hate me for saying this. So Arteta, I apologize. Arteta will hate me for saying this. But the better team won. The best team won. And I think that over the two legs, PSG showed that they were the superior team. Those first 30 minutes in that first leg showed a golfing class. Arsenal came back, they had their opportunities, but I think overall PSG just showed they were that better team in the first leg. But here's the whole thing. It is very rare for you to be supremely the best team for a whole 180 minutes. So for those first 10, 12 minutes, Arsenal looks really good and PSG didn't even hold the ball. This is a team game, which means that it's about the strikers, the midfielders, the defenders, the keepers. So when PSG didn't have control, didn't have possession, when dictating the play, and they now had to now consume pressure, deal with pressure, they knew that their last line of defense said, what's up? That's the whole point of your keeper. Because when we need you, can you help to save us? When we are under pressure, can you ensure that you are that last line of defense? And your boy said, bet, I am. Relax, chill. And that's what they showed. So overall, PSG showed all aspects of them being amazing. Because what is it? I always use it. It's the triforce of an amazing team. Talent, personality, character. PSG showed that they are far more talented through their amazing midfield of João Neves, Fabian Ruiz, and Vitinha, and the ability saying what's up, and your boy Kiki Vich saying what's up, and Nuno Mendes, and of course Donnarumma. They showed their personality by saying, oh, we're going to go to Arsenal's place, play our game, impose a game, and for 30 minutes act like this is our own home ground and get a result away from home, showing our belief in how good we are. That's the personality. And what is the character? Under pressure, Arsenal saying what's up, we still managed to say what's up, keep ourselves in the game and not concede. And even when they were under pressure in that second half, they still dug in deep and said, no, we are not giving this away and we will not allow LSG to show up. This is our victory, this is our win, and we're going to grind that and maintain that win. The talent, the personality, and the character that PSG showed over these two legs. So 100% PSG are deservedly finalists, and I think that, see, the game that showed me that this team might be something. The game that showed me that, okay, we may be dealing with something different, and the LSG may have been banished was the Liverpool game. Like, that was PSG's toughest game. An argument, PSG's easiest game of these knockouts was the Arsenal game. Like, it's not even an argument, it is. Villa, especially in that second leg, gave them more of a fight. And Villa even scored in that first leg. And Liverpool, that was the hardest game. Like, that, the PSG's hardest game of this entire Champions League was that Liverpool game where they lost the first leg. And they had to now beat Liverpool at Anfield and it went all the way to penalties. So I think that PSG have shown that they can grind out to win against a very tough opponent, and they show that they can show their swagger and they can say what's up against guys like an Arsenal or even a Villa. So they've given me all aspects, all arguments that no, we're here. This is real. This isn't LSG. This is something different. This is something new. This is a team that is going out of the shadow of relying on those superstars, on those guys who want to say what's up to their sister, no names, and they say what's up. Enrique has been huge, and I think that, you see, Luis Enrique, what is he known for? MSN. Did you hear what I just said? He's known for MSN. So we never say, man, Luis Enrique won a treble. What do we say? Oh, MSN won the treble. it's to the extent where people even forget who coached them, because all we say about the 14-15 was MSN, MSN, MSN. The first time we saw 3 attackers at the peak of their powers playing together in the same team. So we don't even remember who the manager was or who the coach was. Just, oh, it was MSN and MSN gave him that. And I feel that for Luis Enrique, maybe he didn't get enough credit for conjuring up that team and setting up that system to be as effective as it was. But for PSG, oh, this is all Enrique. No Mbappe, we're going to get to. No Neymar, no Ibrahimovic, no Messi. No superstar to really pin your hopes on. Ousmane Dembele is good. He ain't those guys I mentioned. So this truly is a team led by Luis Enrique. And I'm one of those guys that you need a striker, you need a striker, you need a striker. Now, Arsenal, they desperately need a striker. But Luis Enrique is trying to convince to me, and I think he's doing a damn good job. He said, no, we don't need a striker. The way I set up with my highly technical midfield, my dynamic wingers, and my really, really good marauding wing backs shows that we don't need a striker, and we're playing in a way that can still be effective and can still create chances and can still get goals without having that threat through the middle, just based on how we now make those diagonal runs and just manipulate the space on the pitch. So I'm like, Enrique, that's on you, bro. I'm still a guy that likes a striker, but you're making it a good argument. But I feel that Luis Enrique is finally getting the flowers that he deserves, that he didn't get for the Barcelona treble. He didn't get that, because that's the narrative of that treble was it was the players, it was the players, it was the players. But right now, everyone's like, oh, this is Luis Enrique. Because let's keep it real, let's not change it up. Before this Champions League, once Mbappe left, what did everyone say, including myself? Oh, okay, that's it. PSG they're never winning a Champions League. Oh, they're never sniffing a final. Forget about never winning the trophy. They're never even sniffing a final. Lo and behold, look where we are right now. And in the very season after Mbappe left, they've made their second Champions League final. And with a much harder path. Because remember, that's path, and we'll get to it. When they made their first Champions League final, that was an easier path. I don't care what, that was an easier path. Atalanta, Red Bull Leipzig, much easier path. This was a much harder path. Had to get through City. Had to get through. Was it City? I don't know. No. Sorry, basically, had to get through the playoffs. Had to get through Liverpool, Villa, Arsenal, and now here we are up against Inter Milan. So it's been huge, and it's his dream. This is what El Khelaïfi was looking for, and I think for El Khelaïfi, he has taken many L's, including trying to beat up a referee at Fulham. I mean, we've all been there. Like, we were there. Nightmare in Paris, Miracle at Camp Nou, the Benzema 3-piece. We've all been there. And I think that what El Khelaïfi is now realizing, because El Khelaïfi just believed that, oh no, you need a superstar, you need a superstar, you need a superstar, you need superstars or superstars. Superstar or superstars. And I think El Khelaïfi was like, Mike, if Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi, oh, this is an easy job. But what he's realizing, and which is where football is going into, is you do need very good players. You don't need superstars. What you need is a great team, but within a great team, really good players. Kivicha is not a superstar, but he's an amazing player. Vitinho is not a superstar, but he's an amazing player. Nuno Mendes is not a superstar, but he's an amazing player. Donnarumma, without the mistakes and bozo moments, is a superstar goalkeeper. When he doesn't make mistakes and he doesn't have his bozo gene on, he might just be the best keeper in the world right now. And I think that, especially in today's world, international football, I still believe it's about individuals. I still believe it's about personalities, and I still believe it's about certain individuals rising up. Club football and how club football is right now, of course you still need those individuals, but more so now than ever in history, you need the manager. You need the coach, and it is imperative that the manager is king. The manager is the head honcho and is the be-all and end-all of what happens throughout the dressing room. And I think what El Khelaïfi is learning is you allowed the psychos to take over the nut house. And what he's realized is you have to have the manager be king. And having this holiday camp, which I said before, having the superstars pretty much dictate what happens, and they'll say, oh, no, let the superstars coach themselves. has yielded all these L's. But now he's saying, oh my gosh, we have a proper club that's run in a proper way, that's run with proper discipline, where there's proper decorum and proper respect for the locker room, proper respect for the manager. We have ourselves in a UCL fan where we have a great chance of winning this Champions League. We can't ignore it. We can't ignore it. This is what you guys are here for, man. It's a scary narrative. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, guys. It's a very scary narrative that's brewing right now. You know, Mbappe is sweating. He's sweating. So this is what I always said for Mbappe, which is why, like, at the very last minute, I said that Mbappe, maybe you should stay. Because what did I always say? One UCL for PSG is worth about 50 for Real Madrid. It doesn't matter how many Champions Leagues Mbappe wins for Real. One of those for PSG would have been priceless. Absolutely priceless. And that was Mbappe's dream. Because Mbappe wins a Champions League for Real Madrid. Okay, cool. You know, that's for your personal legacy. He wins one for PSG. That, and especially it's being their very first one, that is legacy defining. That's something Cristiano can say, Messi can say, Neymar can say, or anyone can say that you were a frontman that led a club to their very first Champions League. You know. So for Mbappe, he is sweating. Because let the unthinkable not happen. Because I think that for, like, the narrative is, you can't ignore it. Let's say for the next few seasons, PSG struggle to make it through. Then let's say they won it, or they got to the final in the 6th, 7th season. Then be like, hey, you know what? They eventually got there, but because what we thought was when Mbappe leaves, you'll see how they'll struggle. Man, we don't have a guy to go to. We don't have a guy to go to. So they'll struggle to make it to a quarters or to a semis. This season, the very next season that you leave, they make it to the final. And they look this cohesive. They look this impressive, where there is not even a hint that you've been missed. Oh, it's glaring. It's the very next season you leave. So 1,000%, if they say, yo, Mbappe held this team back, it can be true. And we'll get to if the unthinkable happens. I'm going to get to if the unthinkable happens, but already, even if the unthinkable doesn't happen, they made the final with a much harder path. Because when you made the final, it was a much easier path. This was a much harder path, which most people would say was an inferior team, with no Marco and no Nene and without you. So Mbappe viewing this 100%, he feels badly, and I think to even compound it, it's, look at it. I mean, yeah, it's about juxtaposing it. In a vacuum, let's see how the La Liga goes. Now, if Real end up trophyless and Mbappe wins the Pichichi, personally, you did your thing, but a trophyless season is a trophyless season and he'll get cooked. You know? Now, if you win the league, with what you've done, that's still a pretty impressive debut. But if PSG do the unthinkable and you end up trophyless, this could go down as an all-timer of an all-time L. Like, I can't think of a worse L than if Mbappe and Real go trophyless and PSG go ahead and do the unthinkable. Then it could genuinely be and the biggest L a player has ever taken. Because I cannot think of a bigger L that a player has taken if that happens, if those things happen, if PSG go all the way. And I mean, go all the way and clinch that trophy, and you, in your first season with Real Madrid, end up trophyless. It could be wild. So, I mean, it's because Mbappe right now, because he may not say it in public, but in private, in the privacy of his thoughts, Mbappe must be thinking that, should I have left? Now, if you're PSG and you're the PSG fan, initially you would have been angry at him. But if you're the PSG fan now, you're like, thank God he left. Because by him leaving, it's opened up Dembele, it's introduced Kivicha, and look at how well this team is playing as a team. Because if Mbappe still is there, does Kivicha arrive? And I'm sorry, what Kivicha has brought to this team is way more than what Mbappe brought to the team last season. And let's keep it real. Mbappe initially, when he arrived at PSG, he was amazing. But if you look at Mbappe in his final season for PSG and what Kivicha has done for PSG in January, Kivicha is an upgrade. It sounds crazy because it's Mbappe, but Kivicha has been an upgrade on Mbappe on that left-hand side, comparing to Mbappe's last season at PSG. And we all know what Ousmane Dembele's numbers have been and what Dembele has done. So you take everything into account, PSG have improved and they've gotten better by removing Mbappe. But they've got to catch that check. If PSG lose the final, this has still been an extremely successful season. If PSG lose the final, everything I said still stands. That this team got better without Mbappe. It was the right decision to get rid of Mbappe, and they have improved and gotten better as a unit without Mbappe. That still stands even if they lose the final. If PSG win this Champions League, I don't know how Mbappe recovers. I don't know. Because even if Mbappe goes crazy and insane for Real Madrid, it's still Real Madrid. They've still won UCLs. If PSG win this Champions League without you, but hear me and hear me now, if they win it the very season after you left, the optics are too obvious to ignore. They're too obvious to ignore. It was the very season you left. It is obvious that you held us back. And you were the reason why we couldn't say what's up. You were the reason we couldn't beat Dortmund. So, and my thing is, and this is reality here, because we're going to be building, we're going to be building up. PSG can win this Champions League because that final, I think, can go either way. And I'm thinking a bit right now. I think we generally could have a 50-50 final. You could say 51-49 because Inter have already been here before already, more recently, and most of the team have already been here recently already. And you could argue that Inter have had a much tougher path, and Inter beat the favorites and the best team in Europe. But I'm looking at this right now, and I'm looking at both of these teams and how they've gone. You could make a strong argument of this being a 50-50 final. And I believe that even if Inter were strong favorites, as we saw in 2005, anything can happen in a final. But I genuinely believe this is a 50-50 final, and I think these PSG players, they do. Once PSG beat Liverpool, they need a wait a minute. Okay, this is something. And these PSG guys know that, we can win this. There is a genuine belief that PSG know that they can win this, and they know the significance of what will happen and what Paris will be, and the case that Paris will be if they win it. Because trust me, you thought Paris went crazy after that World Cup in '98. Lord only knows what the Champs-Élysées or the L'Arc de Triomphe will look like if PSG win this Champions League. So they know they can win it. And boy, oh boy, how that will look on Mbappe and Mbappe FC if these guys win this Champions League the very season you leave. Scary, scary hours. Think about becoming a Football Hut member. If you're a desktop merchant, just click on the join button below, over here. Or if you're a mobile phone merchant, just click on the join button below the video over here and join the true elite content crack addicts. Peace.